Welcome to the SVG-TV News for Thursday, September 7th. I am Khalil Cato with the details tonight. A Memorandum of Understanding, an MOU, was signed between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the University of Guyana at the conclusion of the OECS Fast Strategy Summit, which was held here on August 31st and September 1st at the NIS Conference Room. The MOU facilitates both countries through the development and implementation of programs impacting general areas of food and nutrition security of mutual interest, working together to secure financing for programs for further development of business opportunities, and the provision of technical expertise to the Ministry of Agriculture of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The arrangement will see the provision of accredited training for categories of specialists involved in farming extension services, agro-processing, herbalists, and other health and personal care professionals involved in the prescription of herbal preparations in the form of health supplements, personal care products, and bioactive beverages, among other general areas of cooperation. At the signing ceremony, SVG's Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry, and Labor, Saboto Caesar, thanked the government and people of Guyana for their support, adding that there is an anticipation in sending more Vincentian students to Guyana to study.
Lecturer of a minister of agriculture here from St. Lucia. Special round of applause to the University of Guyana. Over the last 5 years, we have sent approximately 10 young persons from St. Vincent and the Grenadines to study agriculture in Guyana. It's very important that as we create a diversified production platform, as we transition from bananas, in some instances sugarcane, that there is that necessary transfer of human resource capacity. And I really want to thank you and to thank the government and people of your country, and we definitely look forward to sending more students so that they can benefit.
The Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry at the University of Guyana, Dr. Lawrence Lewis, outlined the number of courses in which the university is leading in agriculture.
You must have the data to help you to do this. And secondly, you need to have a cadre of persons to work, qualified and knowledgeable to work in this new agriculture, as I would call it, because most of the farmers that I've seen look like me, and the younger folks don't like hard work. I currently, even though I'm a dean, I am involved in agriculture. I'm an agricultural entrepreneur. I'm not a farmer, because there's a difference in what I do and how I approach it. And true, the input that you get in that process is very small, the output. Why I would have loved to share the PowerPoint of the Faculty of Agriculture to say that we are leading in a number of areas in research. Aquaculture, we have done cage fishing, we have done aquaponics and aquaculture together, where we are growing fishes in tank and looking at the return on the investment in terms of the fish and vegetables that we grow. We grow from pop choy, poi, tomatoes, anything in that aspect. We have gone into the cage fishing because we recognize that we've had the complaint because of our new nascent industry, which is oil in Guyana, that the fisher folks are complaining that their catches are declining. So there's that need for something to replace that going forward. And so the Faculty of Agriculture is leading in those areas of research in data.
Plant pathologist, biotechnologist, and regional agribusiness advisor Professor Leonard Ogaro is also a signatory of the mutual agreement between SVG and the University of Guyana on the FAST strategy created to encompass the central pillars, inclusive of establishing more efficient and sustainable methods for food and agriculture production, processing, and distribution in order to offset rising food costs, ensuring that the general public can access affordable and healthy foods. Minister Caesar told those at the panel discussion held here last Friday that the 10-year initiative has to be simplified.
It has to go to every single cooperative, The fisherman has to understand it. The farmer must understand it. We have Invest SVG, Export St. Lucia. Over the next few months, we are going to take it to the cabinets, to the countries, so that we can have not just an expression, but a buy-in. And I think that before the end of the year, taking into consideration, we have addressed the issue of insurance, the issue of climate change and its impacts, the issue of the marketing, niche markets, that we can come back to the table with something going into 2024 that is a platform where farmers can know throughout the OECS that we can produce, have a consolidated platform for the benefit of all. And I really want to thank the Secretariat and Director General and his team, and for the esteemed panelists for taking time off from your very, very busy schedules to be here with us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Ministers of Agriculture at a virtual meeting on August 8th agreed to the establishment of a Food and Nutrition Security Center, FNSC, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to support the OECS in implementing the FAST strategy. A Cuban delegation comprising agricultural officials and experts is currently in SVG on a developmental mission tailored towards providing technical support in various areas within the agricultural sector. Cuba's Deputy Minister of Agriculture, His Excellency Javier Francisco Aguilar Rodriguez, Head of Division Carlos Alberto Alvarez Candelario, and International Director of the Ministry of Agriculture, Jose Antonio Buedes Casanas, arrived in the state yesterday. They were welcomed by Minister of Agriculture Soboto Caesar and Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Cuba to this country, His Excellency Jose Manuel Leiva Ventura. A news release from the CELAC Food and Nutrition Security Center says the mission signals a continuation of collaborative and explorative efforts in the agricultural field between both countries, which was extended earlier this year upon Minister Caesar's visit to Cuba. The delegation is expected to be engaged in a number of activities, which include a tour of the Tissue Culture Lab at the Orange Hill Multiplication Center and Vinci Fresh Limited, a meeting with government officials, the Permanent Secretary and senior staff of the Ministry of Agriculture, CELAC team meeting at the CELAC Food and Nutrition Center to discuss the CELAC FNS plan, consultations with food producer groups, community farm visits and meeting with leaders of agricultural cooperatives, a Beckway day tour, the signing of an MOU at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and a meeting with CELAC officials, and also a visit to Rainforest Seafood. The delegation is expected to leave the state on September 12th. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Citizenship Amendment Bill, which is to give second-generation Vincentians or children of grandparents who were born overseas the opportunity to apply for citizenship, and the amendment to the pension for members of the House of Assembly are among 5 bills which were down on the order paper to be debated in Parliament today. On radio yesterday, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves explained what the amendment to pension bill for parliamentarians is all about.
At the moment, if you serve 9 years as a representative in Parliament, you can get a pension. You get a gratuity of a year salary, but you get a pension of 1/3 of your last year's salary. No, or 1/3 of your highest salary, which is usually your last year's salary. Okay? A lot of people don't know this. Parliamentarians who served 9 years, take somebody like Patel Matthews. He would have gotten as a representative just about $3,000 a month. So he has a pension of just $1,000 a month. But, you know, we have given some people who weren't qualified, like Alfred Morris, Calder Williams, Mr. Denny, Peter Ballantyne, who just died. We just added the Stephanie Brown. We brought special bills for all of them. Well, the only ones we did also for Africans. The only 2 of those who are still alive benefiting would be Alfred Morris and Mrs. Brown. We started at 1,000, went to 1,200, 1,500, 2,000. But you can't have somebody who didn't qualify under the law getting 2,000, and a man who qualified under the law getting 1,000. So we put a minimum pension of 2,000, which you will get. So in the case of someone like Patel, who only was in opposition, and his salary, a parliamentarian salary, contrary to what people think, is not a lot of money, So to be fair and reasonable, no. So that's what is going to come tomorrow.
The Prime Minister noted that the reform bill for pension for parliamentarians, which the then NDP administration had brought forward in 2000, had cast the net too wide and didn't address certain things in a practical manner.
And it was done in a context where the famous thing to the civil servants, not one more cent for you. You know what I mean? So people were upset about a lot of things. You know, when Mrs. Cato, when the founding father of independence died, his wife was not entitled to anything. And during my time, I said no, but she should get something, and we went and passed a special bill for her to get a pension. So some of it is really difficult. The permanent secretaries who serve the time I serve will get a bigger pension than me. I'm not making a case for you, for me. I'm just stating what the facts, what the facts are.
And in Parliament today, Government Senator Shakel Bob took her oath of affirmation of allegiance and read the declaration of qualification at her first sitting and thanked members of the Parliament and Cabinet for their congratulations and best wishes. Bob, 30, is a lawyer by profession and is the youngest government senator in Cabinet. She was also appointed to serve as Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister.
Additionally, I would also like to thank the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have been reaching out to me, sending their congratulatory remarks and best wishes as well. And I would like to thank Mr. Rashad Bala for helping me and supporting me during the transition process. I am esteemed and humbled to be here in such a distinguished capacity, where I can help to inspire change and foster development for nation building in our beloved and blessed country. Of significance is the fact that I am here on such a special day, celebrating Africa-CARICOM Day. Initiatives such as this, which help to strengthen cooperation amongst CARICOM and other regional and international counterparts, are important to the development of our country, and as such, I am even more grateful to be here to celebrate in this capacity. Honorable members, my youthfulness is not lost on me, and I assure you that that will be my biggest advantage. It is revitalizing to see that youths are being welcomed in this capacity, where in fact it is an ongoing conversation that is had on an international basis. That to me is a step in the right direction. Youths are our future, and in this era of millennials, and must I say, bolstered by the education revolution, the dynamism, innovative ideas, and resilience of the youths are commendable. My aspiration here is to further advance empowerment of women, and also to be a voice and a representation to the youths, so we can use their dynamic and innovative ideas to continue to build our country.
The presence of Hurricane Lee, which is forecast to move north of the Leeward Islands, is expected to have an influence on the weather pattern across St. Vincent and the Grenadines into the weekend. The 72-hour weather outlook issued by the SVG Meteorological Services says the days will be humid, exacerbating the heat with limited shower activity today and early Friday. However, as Friday progresses into Saturday, the Met Services says the chance of showers is isolated. That should be the chance of showers and isolated thunderstorms are likely, especially over the northern portion of the mainland. Gentle to moderate winds are expected to blow from the east-northeast to east at 10 to 25 kilometers per hour, becoming southerly by Friday. Seas are expected to be smooth to moderate in open waters between 0.5 and 1.5 meters, with no significant haze intrusion within this forecast period. As the humid condition continues, the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is encouraging members of the public to take the necessary precautionary measures. With warmer than usual temperatures anticipated this weekend and throughout the hurricane season, the Ministry of Health is offering a few health reminders and tips. Stay hydrated. The more we sweat, the more water our bodies will need. Drinking water, coconut water, and unsweetened beverages before you get thirsty can keep you ahead of the low energy feelings caused by dehydration. Avoid sweetened and sugary drinks like beers and sodas, which can cause dehydration. Wear light-colored, loose-fitting, preferably cotton clothing if your dress code permits. Dark synthetic clothing can absorb heat and make it harder for the body to stay cool. Keep doors and windows open where possible. This would allow cooling breeze to flow in and hot air to rise out. Reduce outdoor physical activity, including exercising during the hottest periods of the day. Plan your outdoor activities for the cooler times like early morning and late afternoon hours if possible. If you must go outside, walk in the shade, use broad-brimmed hats or umbrellas, and apply sunscreen with a sun protection factor or SPF of 50 or more. The ministry says it will continue to monitor the situation closely and update the public accordingly. Today, St. Vincent and the Grenadines joined other CARICOM member countries in celebrating Africa-CARICOM Day. The day is in keeping with the decision taken at the inaugural Africa-CARICOM Summit on September 7, 2021, for an annual acknowledgement to signal an ongoing commitment to strengthened relations. In Parliament today, some members were decked out in African attire in honor of the day. In a ministerial statement, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves read a news release from Kenya's president expressing solidarity with the government and people of CARICOM on the special day. Endorsing the sentiments shared by the Kenyan leader, Prime Minister Gonsalves further told Parliament that Africa and the Caribbean have shared experiences which must be translated into shared expressions, including institutional expressions.
As the press release from Kenya pointed out, there are many issues which we have a common position on: climate change, financing for development, the issue of the reform of the international financial institutions of the World Bank and the IMF, the opposition to imperial or hegemonic rule, both in the Caribbean, both in CARICOM and in Africa. So today, a symbolic day. I know that the Ministry of Tourism and Culture is having a special event. And of course, Madam Speaker, you acceded to the initiative by the Honorable Minister of Finance for us, where it is possible for persons who may possess some clothing or appurtenance which would reflect the linkage of our people with Africa. Madam Speaker, you know at a personal level that I believe that I'm the only member in this House, and certainly I've been advised the only head of government outside of Africa who attended an African university, went to Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda, and I pay very close attention to what is happening in Africa. There are some currently difficult times politically in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Guinea, in Sudan, in Gabon, where we have had military coups. Of course, they are all of a different stripe. And there are other challenges: land degradation, desertification, the enlargement of the Sahel region, and so on and so forth. I'm hopeful that next year and in the succeeding years we will have a bigger program. We are asking that persons on the radio, in the public media, highlight linkages between Africa and the Caribbean and strengthening our relations.
To commemorate Africa-CARICOM Day, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs hosted an Afro-Caribbean cultural event in capital Kingstown. Addressing the opening of the Cultural Craft Event and Dress Day held at the Old Treasury Building site, Cultural Officer Maxine Brown said the main objective of the event is to raise awareness and celebrate the relationship between Africa and CARICOM by spreading unity across continents.
We want to emphasize the firm, strong and resilient and passionate ways we are or we have as a people. These characteristic traits ingrained in us and are developed as we mature thanks to our ancestors. Africa-CARICOM Day is a day in keeping with the decision made or taken at the inaugural Africa-Caribbean Summit in 2021, where every day, in fact every year, on September 7th, we'll celebrate this day. And so this year, this is our inaugural activity as we try to create the awakening. And next year, we come back bigger, brighter, bolder as we celebrate our African heritage merged with our Caribbean vibes on this day, a day we call Africa-CARICOM Day. Long live our African heritage. Long live our vibes and culture as a Caribbean people. 3 cheers for Africa-CARICOM Day.
I have oil, tea bags, and drinks. The oil is helping arthritis pain, any joints pain, your hair, rash on the skin, to flush out your system. I have the castor oil, organic. It helps with cysts, it helps with pain, and well, some people say it helps with the cataract in the eye and glaucoma. I have the tea bags, diabetes. It helps with the diabetes, the pressure. The men with the prostate gland, it helps to shrink. It maintains the body. It takes care of your kidneys. It flush it out and it improves. It's very high in vitamin C. The drink, it helps to clean your body, detox. It helps with the diabetes, the sugar. Some people pass out kidney stone from using it. And it helps to maintain your body, especially the vaccine that people took. It helps to always cleaning and maintain your kidneys and so on.
The Africa-CARICOM celebration in Kingstown featured several art and craft vendors. CEO of Flair's Natural, Flavia Gilbert Frederick, who had several herbal drinks on show, spoke highly of the stinging nettle, which she said has been used for many years to cure conditions such as eczema and arthritis. Here's a snippet of the other activities held at the event today to celebrate Africa-CARICOM Day.
Germs of my fathers rumbling in my bones. Germs of my fathers beating in my mind. Germs of my fathers capturing my soul. Words of my fathers tumbling from my mouth. Germs of my fathers, of my grandfathers, of my ancestors, drumming in my psyche.
I write, I tell you, to tell my people, if we can be free from mental slavery, only when they see, as I see, the need to make books of our country.
In some police news, we hear that an investigation has been launched into a shooting incident today in Bucament Bay, which resulted in the death of 29-year-old laborer Giovanni Batiste of Rose Place. Police say a post-mortem examination is expected to be carried out on the deceased to ascertain the exact cause of death. The RSVG police force expresses its deepest condolences to all those who are negatively affected by the fatal incident and is encouraging anyone with information that can assist in the investigation to contact the officer in charge of the Southwestern Division or any police station or police officer you are comfortable speaking with. Meanwhile, Joel Ashton, a 53-year-old fisherman of Caliacaw, has been charged with the offense of manslaughter. Ashton is accused of causing the death of Cameron Alexander by striking him in the head with a Sunset rum bottle during an altercation. The deceased was a 42-year-old security guard of Camden Park. The incident occurred at Lomans Bay at about 5:15 p.m. on August 26th. Cameron died 4 days later at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Yesterday, the accused appeared before the Kingstown Magistrate Court on arraignment, where the indictable charge was read to him. He was not required to plead and was ordered to be remanded into custody at His Majesty's Prison to await a preliminary inquiry. In other police news, an investigation is ongoing into a report of burglary that took place on August 31st in Cane Garden. Police say preliminary investigations reveal that an unknown assailant or assailants entered the dwelling house of a 40-year-old manager and stole a quantity of items valued at over $27,000 and $40 Canadian in cash. Anyone with useful information that can assist with the investigation is asked to contact the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, at telephone number 457-1211, extension 4838, or any police officer you feel comfortable talking to. The police say all information will be treated confidentially.